By February 1944, U.S. forces had captured the Marshall Islands. It was clear that the Marianas would be the next objective. Realizing the threat to their empire if the islands continued to fall to the Americans, the Japanese High Command began to rapidly reinforce Saipan. In May 1944, Japan dispatched its 43rd Infantry Division to reinforce the island's defense. For security purposes, the transport ships were split into two convoys. The first arrived without incident. The second group of 7 transport ships was persistently harassed by U.S. submarines. 5 of the 7 ships were sunk before reaching Saipan. At the time of the invasion, there were approximately 30,000 Japanese troops defending the island. From the outset, it became clear that the massive pre-landing bombardments had caused only minor damage to the defenders, and they were able to put up fierce resistance, resulting in delaying penetration into the island, stacking up Marines on the beach. Thousands of Americans were killed and wounded in the chaos of the initial landings. The amphibian tanks and armored tractors that were supposed to force penetration of the beach defenses largely failed, as the Japanese fire was able to knock many of them out, blocking the path for follow-on troops. The 2nd Marine Division suffered over 1,500 casualties by nightfall of the first day. The regiment suffered 406 killed and another 516 wounded. When the attack was over, however, a staggering 4,300 Japanese troops lay dead before the American line. Of the approximately 30,000 Japanese troops on the island before the battle, barely 900 survived. The Americans eventually completely expelled the Japanese from Saipan, but the war would go on, relentlessly, brutally, for another year. The vicious and comprehensible defense put up by the Japanese would be repeated on countless other islands and battles before the end came, in such places as Peleliu, Corregidor, and Iwo Jima. Yet ultimately it was the equally tenacious and even more relentless American Marines and soldiers that ultimately proved decisive in the Pacific Campaign.